Strategic Planning, Administration, and Supervision of Schools.
Group 2.
The Group 2 members are Benny Rose M. Castro, Cara Joy Cardova, Maria Deb E. Sertanio, Rosemary C. Calio Calio, Charity Rose Kalikaran, and Jeneline E. Ilomba. The Group 2 is assigned to conduct an ambush interview via online platforms to one principal and one teacher, and ask them about their ideas or insight about online instructional supervision and learning delivery modality amidst COVID-19 pandemic.
Prayer for the most holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God of justice, you lead us on life's journey. As we gather here in your name, open our minds to know your voice, open our hands to do your work, and open our hearts to hold your spirit. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. With us this afternoon, who graced our invitation to be with us as part of our requirement in Edu 294 Sir H, is the principal of Ateneo de Iloilo. We have, please give a virtual round of applause to Engineer Herman M. Lagon, PhD, the principal of Ateneo de Iloilo.
Good afternoon, sir. My first question is, how do you support teacher in the transition from face-to-face to virtual classes and meeting?
Thank you. In fact, it's here now. So supporting our teachers in the transition from face-to-face to virtual classes really very difficult, but much needed and necessary. No, well, needed talaga. So I respond this way. No? We support them by recognizing that people excellence is important, but people excellence is what's it? Is not enough if the process or your protocols are not there, and your pipeline, that's not pipeline, that's pipeline. Your pipeline is also okay. So how do we ensure people excellence? We tried our best to put in place and implement our faculty and staff development programs. No, so the school has a faculty and staff development program, and nilagay ko dito programs because under them there are sub-programs. For example, iIgnite, no, you can see that in the slide naman. The iIgnite program is our induction program, good for 3 years. We do that every start of or before the start of the in-service training of the school. So before the in-service training, we require our new teachers and our second and third year teachers for a 2-week orientation and training. So we do orientation, we do training for our Ignatian pedagogical paradigm in understanding by design, among others, including classroom management. That is also the time that they do socials, no, as a group. So aside from that, then if you look at in one school year, we do INSET, in-service training. Our in-service training is done every summer, and that is good. Well, this school year, for example, we did it for six weeks. No, our in-service training. Usually, I hear that from other schools, their in-service training is good for a week or 3 days. In our case, it's usually 6 weeks or even more. And we start with the usual meeting. And then after that, we divided it with the different ongoing trainings. And that's highlighted by our academic summit, formation summit, and learning support summit. Then in between, there are some trainings with programs, conversation with programs, and teachers are also working with their curriculums, curriculum maps. And also they're preparing for their learning plans. There are also boot camps happening during INSET. And then we have, under this faculty and staff development program, we also have this On Fire program. This On Fire program is good for all faculty and staff, where we make sure that they are retooled, and we continue to upgrade our professional development. We do professional development. So in fact, just yesterday, we had our one of our on fire activities was this talk with Mr. Jim Toscano, a well-known edtech expert, and he talked about online learning, no? Research-based online learning. And we also have, as part of our on fire activity, I'm also my office also preparing the last week of January another talk on independent learning, how to with Ma'am Dr. Rita Atienza, no, of Ateneo teacher program, no, in Manila. So that's training on training teachers how to train students to be independent learners, no? So how do we identify these topics? We identify these topics based on the needs analysis we do with our teachers, and also based on our observations and anecdotal records. So from there, nakita namin yung need, and then we offer and look for trainings for our teachers. This is on top of all the napupurga na nga yung mga teachers namin, all the trainings offered by our partner book publication. So sobrang dami ng mga trainings that they are offering us. What we do is we just give it to our teachers and let the teachers decide whether they join or not. This school year, we also organize, as part of our On Fire program, we also organize the 2021 STEP conference. That's Society for Technology, Society for Education Technology Philippines. So we organized that national conference. Nag-host yung Ateneo de Iloilo. And for those who attended that one, I think almost 90% of our teachers attended that. The CPD points ata is 15 points, enough for renewal. So I can sufficiently say that this On Fire program that we have just this year, no, gave enough number of CPD units now for our teachers for the next 3 years. We also have our supervisory program where our subject area coordinators are the ones, no, making sure that our teachers are being coached and supervised and mentored well. The Magis program is another program. This is for our supervisors and our emerging leaders. I think Ma'am Jen is one of them. So we do trainings specific for them to prepare, to enhance their supervisory skills and to prepare the future supervisors, no, for that purpose. The SALT program is nakalimutan ko yung acronym, ang meaning ng acronym nito. But the SALT program is intended for our top level management na training. So may mga trainings din to. But it's more on top level management. And sometimes we invite specific mid-level administrators, no, for this purpose, so that we can prepare them also for top level supervision. Then the Faculty and Staff Development Program also has a research program. No, naudlot lang this for the past 2 years, but in this research program, we journey with each, again, when I say program, that subject area or formation program. We journey with them, they make their own research per program, and we organize a school-wide research conference, no, so that they can present and then also we can be trained, no, as far as research is concerned. And then we also give school grant, no, for school grants for teachers who would like to take master's degree, pero may ano yan, may kapalit yan. So unfortunately, very few are taking this one kasi we don't want to be tied with the school, no. So for example, I can apply with this program. If it will be approved, there's a corresponding kapalit na you will stay in school for a particular number of years. So that's the grant program. Then we also have boot camps as far as face-to-face virtual classes. So again, no, because there is a need to help us. There's a need to teach us how to do virtual classes. Our faculty and staff development programs are also geared towards that. So one example is yesterday's training. Ang bootcamp, we would like to highlight this. Last year and this school year, our light team, light team is learning innovation in technology education learning innovations through technology team. So we have this learning innovations through technology team. Their work is precisely to help our teachers in not just in the transition from face-to-face to virtual, but in the use of technology talaga for whatever, not just virtual, but also in school class. So we have the light team, they're the ones offering the boot camp. So anong nangyayari? May mga general boot camps where all of us are required to join previously. And then there are boot camps that are only good for those who are in need of it. So for example, kailangan ng boot camp for MS Teams or boot camp for Google Classroom or boot camp for a particular app, application, quizzes, etc. Peer, so they can ask for the light team for them to be helped. So there's that one. Then we also have an IPL ADL team, Nation Pedagogical Paradigm. Adaptive Design Learning Team. This team also can be called by a program if there's a teacher who needs to be helped, on virtual learning classes and also other concerns. Then this is on top of all the different activities that we have. Then conversation is open and consultation is open to all stakeholders. If a teacher has a problem, the teacher can go to his peer. The teacher can also go directly to the subject area coordinator, or if necessary, ask help from the light team, IPP team, or go directly to the associate principal and pwede rin sa president, as a principal, through email or visiting the office if necessary, if they want to be helped. So merong ganong open channel, okay? And then also in the design of our contextual blended learning program, in the formulation of our transition plan, we are also doing open conversations with the different stakeholders. So that one helped our teachers in the transition for the face-to-face to virtual class meetings. So, but importante rin also for our policies to be relaxed, responsive, and contextualized. The transition is already very stressful for the teachers. That is why we are also conscious to try our best to talk to our teachers and temper our policies. And it takes, because there's no template, it takes more conversation for this to happen. And then as far as learning support, hindi lang to professional dev but also technological concern, yung transition from face-to-face to virtual class. So the school has a learning support area. There's an associate principal for that, where teachers can be helped if they have technical problems, connectivity, gadget, etc. I can explain that more in detail if you want that to be elaborated. So, but for the meantime, yan lang muna. So, how do we support our teachers? We support them by through their professional development. We make sure that if they need to be helped technically, if they need to be helped pedagogically, if they need to be helped psycho-emotionally, there's a corresponding office and there's a corresponding service that can be given to them. So sabi ko psycho-emotionally, yes, not in my office but in the HR. If the teacher has psychological problem, let's say anxiety, inadvertent, medyo super different na kind level of anxiety or stress, then they can talk to the HR and ask for help. So help can be in a form of intervention from a psychologist or intervention from a psychiatrist. So yun, I think that's all for the moment.
Thank you, Sir H. I think Ma'am Cara is ready to ask the second question.
Walang follow-up question for this, ma'am? Okay lang.
We proceed with the second question po, and then later on we can have the follow-up
Sige,
question.
sige.
But we focus on the 6 questions that we have prepared, Sir H.
Okay po, okay.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good
So
afternoon,
this
ma'am.
is our second question. How do you focus on addressing the needs of teachers while engaged in remote or online learning?
Thank you for that. I already answered it partly, no? And siguro I'll just show to you the process, what we do. We make sure that it's clear to us what the core is. When I say the core, what is our vision, mission? What is our formation goal? With our what's our why? No? And then we gather data kasi we need to look for our needs. No, ano talagang kailangan ng school? Ano talagang kailangan ng teachers? Mahirap kasi na sinasabi lang pero hindi siya data driven. And then we collaborate with people. And then from the data we gathered and the inputs we got from collaboration, we planned it out. Then we test it. And then eventually we review it. Sometimes we test it again. Then we review it. And then we go back to the core if we have really achieved what we need. So this is how we address the needs of the teachers. We look, we check, we make sure that our intention is well defined. Kasi there might be some concerns that are not really aligned with the school's core or vision mission. And so if they're not aligned, we take them out. No, we don't consider them as important. So, but if they are important, then anong needs ng mga teachers kung merong problema? And we focus on those needs while talking to people and consulting with them before we make the plan. So this is essentially our standard way of approaching, no, addressing the needs of teachers. Look at the core, check the needs, define clearly, quantitatively and qualitatively the needs, and then look at literatures, look at the previous experiences, how we did it, maybe contact sister schools and our partner sister schools, how do they approach those concerns, and then look at our anecdotal records, and then make and plan, no, or go back to the institutional plan and make some changes if necessary, then deliver the plans. Okay? Then after you deliver the plans, we check, kumustahan yung mga teachers, then we evaluate it when we go back to the drawing board. So that's how we address the needs of the teachers. To make it very specific, for example, there's a need for our teachers to be trained about applications, and that's shown in the literature, that's shown in anecdotal records, that's shown in when we talk to them. Some of our teachers need more knowledge and skills in understanding applications, computer applications. And so that's why boot camps were conceptualized. That's why yesterday's online learning talk, research-based online learning talk was conceptualized. That is to help them. There were reports also that some of our teachers need to be trained on classroom management, online classroom management. That's why 2 months ago, 2 months ago, we organized per unit. No, when I say unit, that's senior high school, junior high, grade school. We organized classroom management talks. No, what we did was we asked our experts in classroom management, Ma'am Janice one, to share their best practices to our teachers who were identified by our subject area coordinators who need to be helped in terms of classroom management. So another one, there's a need, for example, for some of our teachers to have intervention in terms of psycho-emotional health. So because that is under HR, so we asked HR to look for ways to do that. In fact, it went up to naging research, no, activity pa nga yun. So how do we focus on addressing the needs? We first check if these are really the needs. Then if these are the needs, then we look for ways to help our teachers. And a way to help our teachers does not necessarily be coming from the office of the principal or the office of the HR. Our subject area coordinators are directly engaging with our teachers in helping them. So may mga tinatawag na clinical needs, and these are the needs that our subject area coordinators or supervisors are looking into and working. This is the almost the latter part of the school year. And this is also the time where we converse more thoroughly with our supervisors, looking for ways to help our teachers clinically. Because months, few months before the end of this school year, part of the work of a supervisor is to recommend to us kung sino yung mga teachers that we will be keeping and who among them that we have to ask to leave. So that is after all the interventions have been made. Okay, so that is part of our process, and so naging thing, ano na lang siya, naging knee-jerk reaction na lang. So it's already a given to us that when if we want to address the needs of the teachers, we need to make sure that they are really needs of the school and the teachers, and they're aligned with the school's vision. And we hit them based exactly on who these people who need this intervention, and to also check if the interventions are really helpful or not. So we follow them up. I think that would suffice.
Thank you, Sir H. And I guess Ma'am Deb here is ready to ask the third question.
Thank you.
Ma'am Deb?
So good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Ma'am Deb.
I'm a teacher of Navais Juarez Elementary School here in Iloilo City. As a school head, how do you maintain communication, contact, relationship with teachers in this time, in this online setup?
Thank you, ma'am. So medyo mahirap yan, mahirap sa ganitong setup, mahirap talaga mag-communicate sa kanila. So nami-miss ko na sila face-to-face. We haven't had, one of the things that I love talaga with the school is the community conversation, especially kung institutional siya. But there are lots of ways, no? So for example, we communicate still through email, Facebook page, messenger, phone, but my office also does kumustahan, and most of the time I focus on kumustahan are for special groups, no? In fact, next week I will start the second phase of kumustahan, and I'll start with the probationary teachers. What is the kumustahan? Kumustahan pala is also being done by the supervisors in the program and also being done by the school president. What we do is we invite specific group of people and nag-uusap lang kami, drop everything, no talk about work. We'll just talk about kumusta na kami, no? So I think that one also albeit online, maximizes conversation and dialogue with teachers. Sometimes lumalabas yung mga issues and concerns, ang mga needs nila, and so I have to anecdotally record them also. And kumustahan is also helpful for the admin to know the context, where does the teacher is coming from. Yun yung because of the online setting, miscommunication heightens, no? And one of the best ways to minimize miscommunication is really to continue the conversation. Kumustahan? Personally, I do workstation visitation. Our teachers have workstations. They were spread in the different rooms in the school. So if there's time, I visit them. I usually visit them, take pictures of them, and then sometimes if there's a time, ask them, not really tap their shoulders, but ask them, kumusta na, how are you, etc. Sometimes just the presence, your presence is can be good enough for others. Then surveys. We use Google Form for our different surveys. So medyo this year, maraming mga surveys tayo. That's also one way to check their suggestions and points and where they're coming from. There's also a constant conversation with supervisors. Sometimes the supervisors can directly, indirectly tell us kung kumusta na yung mga teachers namin. There are groups, trainings, and conversations. That one helps. One-on-one convos with some teachers, especially now. I do one-on-one conversation with teachers, either face-to-face in my office or online. Then I also communicate with them through memos, and then Zoom meetings or Teams meeting. And as sinabi ko na, supervision by wandering around really helps. Sometimes there are moments when at 4:10, I station myself in the time, yung nagta-time out time in yung mga teachers. I don't know that area. Because that's the only place where from time to time you can see teachers, in one place, but one after the other, syempre within time out or time in. And pero what my favorite mga socials before level 3, we were able to have dinners, lunch or snacks or video in some groups, so small groups. And sometimes you are being asked to join, sometimes you force yourself to join them. Yun yung maganda. I think that helps. And at least under me, for my under the admin office, we have 3 secretaries, tapos 4 associate principals. We meet, no? We meet from time to time, and like my Christmas party, we also did that na sa dinner. So, tapos for the associate principals, sometimes when we meet, tawag namin AFT meetings, no? Academic Information Top-Level Administrators Meeting. We sometimes do our meetings over lunch sa A3. So, sabi namin, nagla-lunch naman tayo, so let's have a luncheon meeting. So we do that. We meet from time to time in few groups, in masses, in other activities, webinars. Then observation conferences, that's a good venue also. Guidance sessions and pop-in visits. So these are the ways to meet and discuss over and communicate with our teachers, no, in the online setup. We really hope that there will come a time, we're trying our best talaga. That's why last Christmas, despite all the concerns, we really tried to meet, no, kahit Christmas man lang, no, together. So buti naman, mga about 95% of our teachers were there, no, in our gym when we had our Christmas party following all the protocols naman. So iba talaga yung you share food and drinks and pleasantries with your co-teachers. No, so what I'm talking about is communication with our teachers, supervisors, and colleagues, talking about professional concerns, and also, no, dropping everything and just talk about things under the heat of the sun, no, mga non-work related, because relationship is very important in a school like ours. I think that will suffice. Again, please try to give me follow-up questions later in the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir H. And here we have Ma'am Rosemay ready to ask you the 4th question.
Okay po. I might have missed one question, so sige lang. 4th question na tayo.
Good afternoon, Sir H.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Rose.
Miss Rosemay from Arevalo Elementary School.
Arevalo.
So here's my question, sir. So how do you celebrate successes as teachers work with students in the virtual world?
Okay, thank you for that question. So how do you celebrate? We sharing of victories, no? So wins, surveys, achievements, innovations, suggestions, publications, inputs, outputs. So we share these victories via announcement in various platforms, congratulatory emails, even birthday, no? Merong isang committee that is in charge with with birthdays, no? Thanksgiving parties or activities, notes in Zooms or team meetings. We also have small groups, no, mga messenger groups, giving of simple affirmations and gifts, no. In my office, at least this school year, kahit notepad man lang, happy birthday, Merry Christmas notepad sa mga colleagues. And good thing I can see that among teachers and supervisors, they also exchange gifts, no, on their own. No? Letters, video messages, no. We sometimes produce, no, celebrity video messages, and then memoranda. We simple tap on the shoulder of a teacher will do also, no, the same thing teacher to administrator. Then this is organizational. When a teacher achieves something, that's also, I think, in public school that is a given, no? But not all private schools. So we see to it that our ranking promotion also affirms, no, the victories and achievement of a teacher. Kaya lang medyo na pending yung ranking promotion namin for 2 years na ata, Ma'am Jen, no, because of COVID. So hopefully we can resuscitate that next school year. Then now, non-verbal affirmations. There are many ways to affirm and to give pleasantries to our teachers, no. In fact, our presence our presence with each other will be good enough, no? For other, in some kumustahan, some teachers are saying yun eh. Ang importante lang, listening ear, shoulder to cry on if necessary. The release of research findings is also one way to affirm, for example, the activity. So yesterday we had our activity. I released last night the result of the evaluation for that activity to our admin group in the messenger, and so we celebrate, no, the affirmation of our teachers when they said that na maganda rin daw yung and helpful daw yung talk namin kahapon. So we share that to everyone kasi, di ba? That's hard data, the survey. We walks, bikes, some of our teachers, may mga bike group sila, may mga walking group sila, and others do video. Okay, I don't know with Mom Jen in your group, medyo ka premium proper kasi yung CLE group eh. But when Mom Jen was still with the math group, medyo very constant yung mga ninyo, Ma'am, no? Yung mga dinners ninyo at saka video, okay. No? So yun. So these are the ways to celebrate successes, and celebrating successes of teachers and successes of students are really very important, especially in the new normal. These are ways to affirm each other that we are doing the right thing. Kung minsan yun yung kulang eh. And ako rin, I recognize that that's one thing that I have to improve also. It's not part of my personality to be very affirming. No, not I'm affirming, but I don't do that very often. Alam mo yun? Yung parang maybe because of my dad issue. So pero yun, affirmation is really very important. That's one thing that I myself must be reminded of. Hindi naman kailangan gumastos. The presence will be enough. A tap on the shoulder will be enough. A simple congratulatory message to messenger would be enough. And simple birthday greeting would be enough. That's, hey, I exist here and I recognize your presence. So those are the ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir H. And Ma'am Charity here will be asking the 5th question, Sir H.
Thank you, Ma'am Jen.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Charity Rose Calic. Dao Primary School District of Alimujan 2.
Alimujan, okay.
Our 5th question, how do you assess the quality? Yes, sir.
Okay.
How do you assess the quality of the teaching learning process?
Okay,
Sir.
sige. So medyo I'll try to answer this as fast as I can, but these are my responses, no? So I divided it into 3. One is student-centered learning, teaching, and assessment. These are the tools that we use in order to check if our teaching learning process is really doing great or not. So, for example, institutional plan evaluation result, what we do is we set a day, like 2 days, for select people and mid-level and top-level administrators to go back to our institutional plan and assess it qualitatively and quantitatively. We also have SETI survey. I will not talk about all these, no, but we can check this one out. The SETI survey is student evaluation for teacher instruction survey, where we do that twice in a year, one mid and the other one is end of the school year. We ask the students through Google form to answer a set of questions, 30 plus questions, items ata, to assess their own teachers, all their teachers. And then also may quali part na yan. What do you love the most the teacher and then the least like sa teacher. And then the data here, we give it to the subject area coordinators, and the subject area coordinators discuss it with their teachers. I don't know if Ma'am Jen has already received her SETI. No? More often than not, lumalabas dito yung mga how good you are in teaching. And the SETI survey is divided into different fields. No? How engaging is your class? Kumusta yung assessment mo? How do you master your subject? What are your engagement activities? Etc. etc. Then we also have our performance appraisal. That's a good material to check if the teaching learning process is quality. Then we also have observation results for our teachers. Then program year-end evaluation of our subject area coordinators. Then there are many others, no, mga assessment, surveys. CEM is one, no? Center for Educational Measurement, not all pala. The CEM diagnostic test, we did not have that last year because of COVID. But this year we are planning to conduct, no, the CEM diagnostic test for math, science, and math, science, and English, because the one of the big academic pedagogical question is because of the online learning, how much competencies, no, do our students lose? No? Kumusta ang learning losses natin for the past 2 years? That's the question that we would like to answer. And this EM diagnostic test will be a good measure for that. This is online diagnostic test, no, for our students in grade 4 to 12. We hope to conduct this one by March, because we are currently working with our transition plan, the transition from the new normal to the next normal. And we need this data, among other data, in order for us to design our transition plan responsive to the reality of our students in school. So marami pa mga, this one for product excellence, how to make sure that our students are really doing well and the teaching learning process doing well. We also have student admission and progression. So ito rin, another test. No? We hope to get, hanggang ngayon, si DepEd hindi pa binigay sa amin yung BEA result. The Basic Education Exit Assessment for Senior High School is a very good tool for us to check if our senior high school is really doing well. I'm very excited to get that one. Aside from that, we also ask our parents and students, kumusta? Kumusta yung teaching in school? So for example, may survey tayo ng services ng senior high school, their career choices. Now we ask the students and parents on this. We also ask our parents and students in junior high school, kumusta? Are you joining us in senior high school? If not, bakit? If yes, bakit? What are the programs that you think we are doing well and you have been helped the most? And that and more, no? We do. And then for the teaching staff, meron din. So bumalik ako kanina. We also have a school culture survey to check kung kumusta ang kultura ng school, no? Are we getting worse? Are we getting better? And also, there's a yearly assessment for probationary teachers. In the next 2 months, I will be receiving that assessment from our supervisors. The assessment that at the end of the instrument, they will say, I am recommending this teacher to continue his or her services in school, or not to continue his or her services in school. Then I think just recently our teachers filled out a self-care survey for faculty and staff. Kasi ang quality of the teaching learning process is not only confined in pedagogically in the classroom, but it's also we also include the way the well-being of the teachers and the students. And so it's importante din na way to measure it, to assess yung self-care ng mga teachers and students natin. Then there's also the peer coaching questionnaire and many questionnaires that we have. So masyadong marami, and we are doing this kasi mahirap naman kung impression lang, di ba?
Yes.
So mahirap naman kung narinig mo lang sa iba. Okay yung anecdotal record, but anecdotal and qualitative data must be triangulated by quantitative data. And these are quantitative, quality data. So that's how we assess the quality of our teaching learning process in school. By the way, who are helping me on this? The teachers, the subject area coordinators. We also have our research documentation, communication, and training officer. So who is under me. And then we also have 2 psychometricians who are also helping me on this area. No, not to mention our associate principals. No? And the good thing is that we do most of this using Google Form. So medyo hindi na siya that difficult. And some of these data we also present in research conferences outside school. And if we will have our research conference again in school, then we will also be presenting. So we sometimes present this one in meetings and through memos. Thank you.
Sir H, thank you so much. And I will be asking the last question. This is
Okay.
not a question, actually, Sir H, because
Yes.
to end our conversation for this afternoon, I just would like to ask from you if you have parting words to share with our viewers, because you will be making this as a vlog about online instructional supervision and learning delivery modalities amidst COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I hope this is not the parting message talaga. I'm really hoping that we will maximize our Q&A later. But these are my parting words. So first, we have to know our why. No, I think there's a book about it. So we have to know the core, the reason why the school exists, and we have to do things with the end in mind. So it's just one, isang meaning lang. Every supervisor must know by heart the and ano talaga no and know by heart and act by faith the vision, mission, core values, and formation goals of the school. Because sa dinami-dami ng mga work natin, especially because of the ambiguity of things in the new normal, we might end up losing our sight on the most important things, our non-negotiables. And the things that will help us go back to our non-negotiables, our core, will be the reason why the school exists, our core values, our formation goals. And that end in mind will help us design the different plans and programs that we have. Next is take much premium on the context. Now, when you say context, well, context of the school, that's the why. But one important thing also is the context of the students, the context of the teachers, and the context of your fellow administrators. Without understanding their context, then mahirap mag-plan ng mga things. Diba? Yung iba kasi, what they do is, they get a template from another school and they use and follow that. That is a dangerous thing to do if you're a supervisor. Ay, maganda to, they're doing this very well and they're very successful in this. May implement na. That kind of attitude is an old school attitude. No? The attitude must be, okay, maganda yan, but what is the context of the school? Anong need talaga ng school? That's why importante yung data gathering. Importante yung connection. That's why connect here. Importante yung consultation. Importante yung kumustahan. That's one of the ways for you to contextualize, to put at the right start, at the right bearing, at the right direction, yung planning stage niyo. So, ako, this is very difficult for me, no? I sometimes falter in understanding the context of others. But this is because I'm aware of it, so I take also more effort in order to understand the context of people. And context is very important in our Ignatian pedagogical paradigm. When we design our learning plan, we are really asked or reminded by our supervisors to make sure to know the context of the students before you make your learning plan. Kasi no matter how internationally acclaimed your learning plan is, if it's not designed for your students, it will never be effective. In the same manner, no matter how good your intentions are, if you do not design your supervisory plan in the context of your teachers, it will not help. Okay? And so these are all leading to care. We have this what we call cura personalis in Ateneo. That means personal care to the person, to the individual, no? The student or the teacher. That is on top of your responsibility to take care of yourself also. Okay, so context, connect, and care. Next is depth, no? And they're connected with the previous two. Kung minsan, again, we have a lot of things in our plate, and sometimes we design things based on what is popular, or what is happy or what is entertaining, or we want to have many activities to in order, and then we say that we are successful. My invitation is for us to look for depth. That sa dinami-dami ng mga work natin, sa dinami-dami ng responsibilities natin, we don't need to do all of them. We just focus on the most important part. And then take time, put depth to it. It's the same thing with teaching, no? I'm sure, as a physics teacher, ang dami-daming mga physics concepts. But ano yung mga non-negotiables? And how can I make sure that at the end of the day, the students will get it and then we'll keep it with them and will have a good transfer, no, of learning. So depth is more important than breadth. Then adapt. Everything is ambiguous in the new normal. We don't have a choice but to adapt. If we stop from adapting, that's the time that we start from getting stressed, getting more anxious. So it's a difficult thing to adapt, especially that some of us are not wired to adapt easily. But adapting to different situation is a must. And I think that will be the next normal. You set aside the pandemic. In the next normal, there are many other variables that will come in our lives where we need to adapt. If we will not, then we get outdated. So it's a choice. So adapt and then trust. So this is a difficult thing, especially for people with issues on trust. But this is what I have learned for the past 4 years. As a person who have issues on trust also, for the past 4 years, what I have learned is, one, I cannot do everything. Two is I don't know everything. And the third one is I am not the Messiah. That's what I have learned. And after knowing that, I also learned in the past 4 years as the principal of the school and previously as the AP, the associate principal and supervisor, that there are many people in our school who can do a lot of things better than I can. And if that's their work, then my role is to make sure that they love their work and they can maximize their work as inspired by the school's vision mission. So trust them, because I have seen this in many ways and many times. I have seen this. Our people, our teachers and our supervisors doing the best things that they can for the school, and best it was indeed. Then lastly, a rejoinder na lang, kailangan natin ng grit. No? It's difficult to define what grit is, but I think that's a resilience, na continuous resilience. Because of the new normal, because of all the ambiguity of things and the uncertainty of things, the VUCA world, we end up sometimes being so mucked up, being so mugged up. But if you have this ability to stand up, even if you are being mugged, that kind of grit, maybe I sometimes get my grit from the reason why I'm in school, then things will be easier. Then that grit eventually is followed up with grace, gratitude to the Almighty, or if you don't have a God, gratitude to the cosmos, or gratitude to your loved ones, because that one is one flame that will really push you to do better. Okay, so grace here is God's grace, and God's grace, if you're full of it, you become more grateful to everything that you have. So again, focus on the core, focus on your why. Make sure that context is on top of the food chain, and don't forget to take care of yourself and others. Focus on the depth and not the breadth. Trust everyone and be adaptive, have grit, and of all these things, put God at the center. Or maybe if you don't have a God, make sure that you anchor your belief, or you anchor the whole situation with something, an entity siguro, that will make you become more grateful and open to whatever changes that you can have for the betterment, no, for your betterment. We call that magis. So all these things we do for the students, all these things we do for our colleagues, all these things we do for our family, all these things we do for the school and for the community and ultimately for God. So I think that's it. No, these are the things that can keep us afloat and can keep us more adaptive in the delivery of our services amid the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir H. And I am so refreshed of the fact that I'm in school, no? And then I hope that my classmates were able to learn a lot from your inputs this afternoon. So if there are questions, Sir H would be very willing to entertain more questions that would be relevant to our assignment in Edu 294.
Anong pangalan ng subject? Anong pangalan ng course?
Strategic Planning, Administration, and Supervision of Schools.
Wow.
Sir
yummy.
H, big
Yummy,
words.
You can talk about that.
Since we do not have enough time, Sir H, let me check first with my classmates if there are questions that they would like to raise in connection to the topics that we have already discussed just this morning. That's the online supervision. Any thoughts, questions so far? So because there's no more questions, Sir H, I think what you have imparted to us are more than enough, and we are still digesting it. And if there are questions, sir, I think you are also be willing to have another set of
Sure, no
interview
problem.
via Zoom late, in the future, maybe. We will have
say
a
no to
lot.
Ma'am Jen. I cannot say no to you, Ma'am Jen.
Yes, we are friends as friends. So when I booked an appointment, I did not text or chat as a principal, no, Sir H, as a
Yes,
friend,
yes.
so that it would be easy to, no email is being required, just a message in the messenger. So I think, Sir H, you would like to say our big thank you for supporting us,
You're welcome.
supporting me personally in my assignment, and also for giving us a lot of insights. Thank you so much. And I think that would be all. If you have other things that you would like to say to our beloved principal, thank you words, Ma'am Cara, Ma'am Rosemay, Ma'am Deb, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, sir. So we got a lot of insights and meaningful words from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Rose.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking from your busy schedule to be the guest of our question and answer activity. Again, thank you and God bless.